Hello everyone, welcome to another online class of Population of Bangladesh. Today we are going to complete this chapter and we are going to finish with causes and impact of migration. And this is your Inzam sir with you. Let's get started with today's lesson. In the previous lesson, we talked about causes of dissimilarity in mortality rate and impact of mortality rate discrepancy. Today we will learn about migration. Here you can see two pictures and these two pictures actually represent migration. What is migration? The answer will be to change dwelling places permanently is called migration. It may be confined in a country's territory or sometimes it may happen crossing territorial boundary. In the previous lesson, you actually learned about migration, and when migration happens within a country, that means there is no territorial boundary, that is called internal migration. And when you go beyond the territorial boundary, that means outside the country, it is called international migration. So after this chapter or after this lesson, we will actually learn about causes of migration and impact of migration. Let's learn more about migration. Migration means people's movement from one place to another within the country or from one country to another. That means migration is of two types. One is internal migration and other is international migration. Internal migration takes place within the country. People's migration from village to town, village to village, town to village, or town to town within the country is called internal migration. However, when we go to different places daily, we cannot be called internal migration. Transfer from independent country to another for job, marriage, residence, and even citizenship is known as international migration. However, if migration takes place within the country, the total population does not increase or decrease. But if migration takes place from one country to another, then the total population will be changed. Now, what are the causes of migration? I mean, why do people migrate from one place to another? There are various reasons, and the reasons behind migration are mainly economic, social, political, or demographic. Among these causes, the most remarkable ones are man actually migrates from one country to another in the hope of more income, which actually suggests like if a person comes from village to city in the hope of more income, that is also a migration. And migration can be internal and international migration, and behind that the income reason can be a prior factor. That means a person can go to another country with the hope of more income too. Then man migrates for business purposes. That is similar to the first reason. After that, man migrates for marriage, and this actually happens within the country. Like a person can actually migrate from village to city or village to town for marriage. Then migrates for higher education, advanced healthcare, profession of higher dignity. These causes are actually very common in our everyday life because people do internal migration and international migration for higher education. That means people can move from village to city for higher education and they can go beyond the country. That means they can go another country in the hope of the higher education. and that is also similar to advanced healthcare, profession, and higher dignity. Man migrates being affected by natural calamities like flood, drought, waterlogging, and river erosion, and etc. That means when people are affected with natural calamities every now and then, they can migrate from that region and go to another place. Then man migrates in the hope of attractive elements like advanced civil rights and opportunities, recreation, and good environment. That is, if you are not satisfied with your civil rights in your country, if you are not happy being a resident in your country, then you can also apply for migration to another country. Last of all, migrates because of wars. At present, many people of the Middle East are migrating to the European countries because of wars. So what are the impact of migration? There are various types of effects of migration. The areas where people migrate get expanded. Density of population increases. For example, only 10 years ago, Dhaka city consisted of limited areas, but now the expansion of this city is widespread. Because of migration, the pressure of extra population is felt at different locations of the city. So the demand and price of basic needs and daily commodities increase. Various social problems arise from the growth of population due to migration. These are admission problem in education sector, lack of employment, different types of criminal activities, environmental problems, and so on. One of the best examples will be traffic jam. I mean, when we are in lockdown, we can see empty streets, empty roads. There is no person in the street or road. But when everything is fine and okay, we see traffic jam and we are stuck in traffic jam for 2-3 hours, and that is the harsh reality. So migration can be problematic too. Both internal and international migration affect the population structure of the country. Lakhs of people of our country are doing jobs in various regions of the world through migration. The money sent by them is making a large contribution to our national economy, and that is called remittance. Now let's review and repeat the lesson again. First, we dealt with causes of migration, and the causes were people migrate in the hope of more income, for business purposes, for marriage, for higher education, advanced healthcare, profession of higher dignity, for natural calamities, for advanced civil rights, opportunities, recreation, and good environment, and the last one is for wars and battles. Then we learned about the impact of migration. The first impact is the density of population increases. Next, demand and price of basic needs and daily commodities increase. Then, various social problems arise from migration. Both internal and international migration affect the population structure of the country. The money sent by them is making a large contribution to our national economy. Well, that was all about today's lesson, and with this we are done with this chapter. The chapter is complete and our first term syllabus is also complete. In the next class we will revise the other chapters. So till then, take care, stay home, stay safe, and thank you for your time.